Gravel Bike California out here, ready to take in some springtime revelry out here in Redlands. I'm here with Michael, who helps organize the Strada Rossa and is ready to show us around. It doesn't have the same course every year.
No. So we have 3 separate rides, a 35-mile, a 6,200 kilometer ride, and like a 90-mile ride.
But we're only doing 50 miles today, right?
Correct.
Okay, and we're going to see red stuff.
Red stuff? Yep.
Okay, good. I guess I'm dressed appropriately.
Right.
All right, let's roll.
Okay.
Redlands' charm stems from its rich history, from its burgeoning citrus production, from around the turn of the century. This prosperity grew so rapidly that even a streetcar connecting to Santa Monica 80 miles away, giving a sense now why Redlands came into prominence long ago. Today's route covered 57 miles with 5,400 feet of climbing. But as today's number of trails ran in the teens, this is just a sampling of the segments Strada Rossa gets to pick from. Our ride started out of Stell Coffee and Tea, which is a hub that's loved by all types of cyclists. It was a chilly morning to start, but the locals knew it would burn off quickly. The surface street experience wouldn't hold for long as we made our way towards San Mateo Canyon via the carriage trail, where the pavement soon filtered into dirt. This trail carries some history dating back to the late 1800s and as the only segment to appear in every Strada Rossa. As we dodged onto single track, it was not the right time for handy camera work.
Not a good idea.
As the pace picked up. The group crusaded behind this fun flow, setting a high standard of expectations for things to come. Heading on to Alessandro Drive, it's clear around here. You're going to find dirt alternatives to parallel pavement far more likely than you'd think. Our return to asphalt put us up on Sunset Drive, known for its prominence on the final stage of the Redlands Classic. Caroline's Park brought a new dimension, not just ticking us off-road, but also a feeling of being a kid, wiggling our way in and out of narrow spaces. We returned to Sunset Drive, only to flip down Teddy's Trail, which these speeds was the first time I thought about dropping my seat post. The majority of this 1 mile segment is actually uphill, but is more of a gentle flowing climb. With this verdant lushness, you can see why spring is the ideal time of the year for Strada Rossa to be held. With a short break, it was clear that this group was eager to get back onto dirt as we had a bang-bang pace. Taking on Oakmont Ridge was a balance of keeping balance between spinning at a good tempo while living on the edge without going over it. These welcoming views were also a distraction, but it was clear the downhill needed your full attention as well as grip strength. Climbing out of Oakmont was another exercise of finding great dirt for keeping tempo And it was crazy to think we've only covered 14 miles at this point. After more meandering, Act 2 of our ride began, circling Yucaipa, featuring longer stretches of dirt, going up and above, with our first foray heading into the Crafton Hills for 7 miles of dirt. This open space stayed natural thanks to Redlands native and philanthropist Jack Dangermond, writing a multi-million-dollar check to save this area from a wave of development. Our first offensive came up the Thunderbird Trail, which at 2 kilometers, averaging 6%, was our biggest grind so far, as the dips and inconsistent grades made it punch well above its numbers. Bill was still making it happen, climbing on his 32s with a little bit of slippage. But with enough grit, we all merged onto the main Crafton Hills Trail. This ridgeway is steady and more spacious, providing a nice contextural but distracting view of the San Bernardino Mountains.
That's Kell Peak over there.
Which way are we supposed to go?
We're gonna go that way.
Okay.
Don't go that way.
Don't go that way, guys. It's roughly 3 miles to the peak, where you can keep a nice steady tempo until you take a proper stop at the top to take in Mill Creek Canyon and the mountains that frame it. From here, we were big fans of Sir Isaac Newton, ready to must go down. And with renowned coach and racer for SDG Factory team Matt Freeman rolling along with us, it's not a surprise he doesn't stay in view for long. We ended Crafton Hills the same way we started, with some curvy single track, providing a different kind of fun, but not as much for Bill. Did we lose Bill?
I think Bill flatted.
Who caught back on quickly with a little help after our only flat of the day. Did you get to use the pump?
Oh yeah.
Damn it!
You missed it.
Can we get back up there? Reshoot. Our next signature segment was off of Oak Glen Road. But of course, we found a dirt alternative for part of it. We got onto Oak Glen Road quickly, only to leave it for this 1 mile climb of dirt that would deceptively take us to the highest point of the day. But this elevation would pay off on one of my favorite, if not pastoral, descents of the day. And if you haven't noticed, Jonas can handle the bike a bit. I could do that. And while I've never done this trail before, it gives you a lot of confidence when you see others blasting at these speeds. we're starting to head back, which is a good sign since I've run out of fingers to count gravel. But Michael made sure we had to add on Kell Canyon as extra credit on this out and back. This segment has a variety of terrain and was flowy over this 3-kilometer climb, which I wouldn't have guessed averaged 5%. And while I was anxious for the downhill, it's a good note to keep an eye out for the few crags to avoid coming back. I know out and backs do not look good on your Strava map, but in this particular case, it's worth the appendage, as it was very flowy going in and out, and a little bit of indoor-like action going in between the trees before making your way out. While the third and final act could just be the return home, this last third had the most consistent theme of the day, showcasing a great collection of solitary grasslands. Woodhouse Road starts off with a forgotten field with signs of abandoned structures about. But within this 3-kilometer segment, you realize it's good to have a tour guide to warn you of the nooks and crannies, as well as staying on track with a number of side options. Wiggling through these quiet back roads, we return to dirt for one of the most unique sections of the day. Affectionately known as the Serengeti, it was a rare experience to see all this grassland stretched out along the horizon. The story here could be the signature red dirt, but to me, it was humbling to ride above this expanse of open space. Getting out of Serengeti was a little technical, exiting us down Redlands Gateway Ranch. Our last stretch of dirt brought everything back together as I recognized some features making our return to Oakmont Park, albeit only crossing paths we covered earlier. We took pavement the final 6 miles as an expedited way to make it back for some adult beverages. So, I don't know how to properly end this video. We went on so many different trails that my head is still spinning. My neurons just can't connect exactly where we were. And we even went back on a couple as well. Bottom line, there is a lot of gravel out here and I barely touched the surface. And Strada Rossa sounds like a ride you're going to want to do every year because you just don't know what they're going to throw at you. Anyways, if you want to learn more, please check out the ride description down below, and we'll have other fabulous gravel guides right here. So please subscribe or support us on Patreon so we'll be bringing you more from the State of Dirt.